but it's so much faster, so much cheaper. Now it's just like, oh, $20, I can write whatever story I want. I know it's going to turn a profit in 48 hours.
This virus is airborne, and it infects nearly every single person it comes into contact with. As soon as the infected person left the stadium, this became impossible to contain.
You have 100,000 people leaving the stadium that afternoon. Those people go downtown to 6th Street for some music, and in fact tens of thousands more. As soon as they hit the airport, this virus goes global. If you encounter one of these creatures, do not attempt to communicate or reason with them. Either run away or destroy the brain.
Made with Spoken.
My name is Derek Slaton. I'm the author of the Dead Americas series. It is the longest running zombie book series that's out there, sitting at right around 200 books in the series. Release new stories every week on YouTube and via podcasting. Just releasing each book as its own standalone episode. Series has been going since 2018 and shows no signs of slowing down. Huge zombie fan since I was in middle school. Watched the original Dawn of the Dead, and scared me when I went to sleep that night. So it's like, oh, what would I do in that situation? That was just like, whoa, just story after story after story, and I've just never stopped writing. And then when I discovered self-publishing, it's like, hey, let me start putting these out and see if people like it, and developed a fan base around the world in multiple languages, and just keep pushing on. And biggest reason I keep writing is I have bills to pay. Plus, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's this is really the first generation of people who authors who can tell these huge long form stories without having to worry about an editor saying, well, that's not really cost effective. It's like, I'm making enough to keep going, and I'm going to keep putting out the biggest zombie story I can.
Incredible. Yeah, it's such a beloved genre and universe to explore. You might get a kick out of this, but even back in high school with my friends, we had something called the bench crew at lunch, and we would sit on a bench and we would talk about how we would react to the zombie apocalypse and where we would go and how we would hunker down and this mall or this place. And anyways, it's so fun, right? People have that there's such a fascination with it. How much are you influenced by those works that, you mentioned George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. I love also Zack Snyder's remake. I love it. And how much are you influenced by those works, and how difficult do you find it to bring a new voice or shed a new light on this world? Obviously,
Watching Dawn of the Dead way back when and zombie movies back in the day influenced my interest in it. But as far as this series goes, I came up with a delivery system that hadn't been used before, how it spreads. And I've tried to keep those rules hard and fast and just let the threat drive the action. So, and actually, since I've been writing a series, I haven't really watched much zombie media, just because not only do I get my fill of it, but I'm just so into this universe. Like, I don't want to see something on, The Walking Dead or whatever new movie is. And it's like, oh, I should use that. Like, no, I just want to keep going on with my own vision. Plus, there's only so many hours in the day you can watch zombies before you need a break.
Derek, I'm wondering, from your readership, you have a robust audience who can't get enough of your stories. How much do they lean in or offer suggestions, or like, what is your engagement with your readers, and how does that impact your storytelling?
The only real engagement I have with them is through my YouTube page, and to a very lesser extent on Spotify with the podcasting. Occasionally people leave comments, but the 95% of it is through YouTube, because I don't really do social media. I don't advertise. I don't have a newsletter, just because I release so much stuff so often that it's always in the forefront, and it's always in the new releases section. So if somebody's a zombie fan, they'll eventually stumble across my series and be very excited when they have 400 hours of audio to get through. But occasionally I'll take some notes from people. Really the biggest influence has been being able to pay tribute to some of my really diehard fans. I've put a few people in series. Had a long-time listener who he listened for years, and he passed away, so I wrote him into the series as a tribute. But I mean, I have a pretty clear vision of what I want to do with the series. So, you know, most of these suggestions are like, thanks, I appreciate it, and I'll probably won't use it, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
I'm curious to hear about your voice casting and how you've used spoken to bring these stories to life, and if they were the voices that you would always imagine that they would be.
So I just wrapped up the second book with spoken. I did a sample, just kind of a proof of concept, really quick over the summer, just to see if my fans would like it. And they're like, oh yeah, this is cool, do more. So just did the first two books. And yeah, I mean, I've been using the create your own voice. I think that Hume, isn't it? Yeah. So I've been using Hume to create the voices, and had a lot of fun with that. The two main characters so far really nailed what I envisioned them sounding like, especially just one of them is based on a real life friend of mine. So I got his voice as close as possible to his. So I think when he hears it, he'll be happy. But yeah, it's really cool because, you know, you have these side characters that have, you know, 40, 50 words of dialogue, and you can generate a unique voice for them. And that's really cool when, you know, doing a project like this, because, you know, you don't have to go out and cast, you know, I got to cast 35 actors for this. Yeah. You know, it's like, oh, I can, you know, redo. All right, we'll go with that one. That sounds good. Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's like the voice casting is fun, right? You're the director, you're sitting in the chair, and you know exactly how these characters have to come to life. When I'm curious, because you started out in print, right? You started out with just the words. At what point did you see audio as the evolution? If I'm correct, audio became the spin-off of your written stories, right?
Correct. So I think I wrote for about a year before I started dipping my toe into audio, because my goal with the first year was to start making enough with the books that it was paying for the editing and the cover and all of that. So once that was bringing in enough to cover that, it's like, okay, let's start investing in audio. So this was back in 2019. So AI audio wasn't even, you know, on the landscape. So, you know, went through ACX, found narrators, and I think I did the first 100 books with human narrators. And then I think it was two and a half years ago. Sorry, when you work from home, time just sort of melds together. It's like, but it was 2 or 3 years ago. I gave Play HT a shot, and it's like, wow, this is, you know, life changing. It's, you know, a slight step down from human narration, but it's so much faster, so much cheaper, and it really opened up a huge world, because I was able to keep doing weekly releases on YouTube and via podcasting. And because it removed all of the, really all of the cost element, or, you know, virtually all of the cost element, it freed me up creatively, because I didn't have to sit there and go, okay, I'm going to risk, you know, $2,000 on this new 3-book series that may or may not catch on. And now it's just like, oh, you know, $20, I can write whatever story I want. I know it's going to turn a profit in 48 hours. So, it's completely opened me up creatively, and that's been the biggest game changer with going from human to, AI narration, and now with multicast with spoken. Because what I'm doing now is I'm going back to my original audio, original books, and just repurposing the same content just in a brand new way. So, I mean, it's fantastic.
I was going to say, I really love what you said about opening up a whole new world creatively for you, because I think many authors, who might consider digital narration more, more mechanical, like that's just to push the button and let's get it done. But it opened up a new world for you creatively, and I want to hear a little bit more about that, Derek. In regard to in your writing, or creatively in the studio, and how you create the performance. Like for you, what has that done for creating your works unspoken as far as your creativity goes?
So I'm still kind of wrapping my head around the possibilities with spoken. I mean, just I see a ton of potential there, and I'm very excited with what I've been able to do with the first couple. And over the next few weeks, as I really dive into it and learn the ins and outs of it, I'm excited to go back and really breathe new life into my old stories, because it's exciting for me, because I haven't read or listened to these in years, so it's brand new to me. But as far as just AI as a whole being able to really open up creativity, because before it would take me 18 to 24 months to break even on a 2-hour audiobook. Now it takes 18 to 24 hours. So every form of storytelling is now available to me, because using AI, it's so fast, so cheap. Like I did a 10-part series that was 30, 45-minute episodes that was fashioned after 1950s movie serials. So every episode ended in a major cliffhanger, like, how's he going to survive this? And I was able to put in like the epic voice guys, like, how will Flint survive this? Find out next week. And I wouldn't be able to do that with human, because it would have been far too expensive. It didn't really make a lot of money, but it was a lot of fun creatively and just something different. And I'm thinking I'm going to be able to do more of that once I really get into spoken, and being able to add in epic narrator voices and different characters, and really just moving from prose to writing stuff specifically for spoken. So it's more like a radio drama from back in the 50s. I mean, I think ultimately that's going to be the biggest thing, because it's going to just add a whole new element with all the different voices, having full control over them, especially with the emotion stuff, which has been really good so far. It's just, got the wheels turning. I just have to, kind of put it all together and write something specifically to take advantage of that.
Love to hear that. That's fantastic. So writing for audio is a new shift for you, and it gives your readers a new product in a sense, really.
Yes, I mean, it gives me a new revenue stream. Because it's before, because I have all this. The book I just finished now puts me over 4 million words in my series, so that is a lot of back catalog to be able to go through and reproduce and do again. And so I'm able to put that on my regular channel on YouTube. I'm going to be starting a new podcast once I have a backlog, and it's great, because it's just it's content I already have. I get to experience it again and share it in a new way.
For authors who are trying to do what you've done, and they're developing a series and they want to release it in a similar fashion to how you have, the question is, how did you build up your fan base? Was it organic? Did you employ some sort of strategy?
Initially it was just, I'm going to put it out there and just release on a regular basis and see what I can build. And once I got 10, 12 books into the series, I did some advertising, just pushing people to book one. But I haven't advertised in 2 years. it's just been by that point I had, a fairly regular fan base. I was making enough that I was able to do it full time. And then it's like, okay, let's just keep pumping out content, keep giving people a reason to come back. And it's just continued to grow. And every new avenue I can do, like I started doing translations with Scribe Shadow. And now I'm working on German audiobooks with 11 labs, and should be monetized on podcasts next month. YouTube's a little further away, but my goal now is just each year it's like, okay, I'm going to add a new revenue stream each year. So this year was German, next year will be Italian, and full voice cast productions. And once I learn a little bit more of the languages and can differentiate, if it sounds right or not, start doing multicast foreign languages.
We had a chance to meet with Marissa and Steve Haar, I think, with the owners of Scribe Shadow at Novelist Inc. a couple weeks ago. Yeah, that's great. And so we're hoping to maybe hear some of those German versions of your work produced on Spoken. I'm just going to have to say.
Yeah. Once I wrap my head around Spoken and start keep getting used to hearing German languages, because I don't really speak the language, but it's I listen to about 2 minutes of the audio. It's like, yep, that sounds like German. Let's go.
Right. You've got an impressive journey, Derek. A lot of people would be very envious of the position that you're in right now in building that audience, mostly organically. It's pretty impressive. You haven't advertised in 2 years, and you are a full-time author. Making the dream work, or making the nightmares work. And
well, and it's like it still feels surreal because it's like, oh, I'm going to be a full-time author. It sounds like one of those out of reach, like dream job. When your 5th grade teacher asks you, what do you want to be? Like, I want to be the center fielder for the Yankees. I want to be an astronaut. Like, I want to be an author. Like, stuff doesn't happen, and here I am. Like, it's still doesn't feel real, but I'm rolling with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you found something that created something that people really love. That's special, right? It's a very special thing. And I think that's what keeps you so invested in the world yourself, is when you love your own universe that you've created, you're going to pour that love into it. You're going to find ways to expand it in interesting ways. And I think that your audience are right there along with you for the journey. And the fact that you're always exploring ways to recreate the work. I mean, now that audio is becoming the predominant modality with which people listen, right? Or people experience works.
No.
Audiobooks, podcasts, you're moving there, right? And do you see a point in time where you would create exclusively audio, or do you believe that, you want to always be that multimedia, written form and audio form?
I mean, I still make a significant amount with Kindle, because I'm in KU, because with the series this large, nobody's going to buy 200 books. I don't care how much they like it. So as long as that's still, generating a significant amount of income, like, it's always going to be part of the plan. Because even if I write for audio, which, I mean, ever since YouTube really took off about 3 years ago, really became my solid #1 audio option, I changed how I structured the stories. Because it used to be like, okay, I have a general word count I want to hit for the entire thing, and I just went till it's still like the end of a chapter. Now I break it up into 2,000 word chapters, which is about 12 to 14 minutes of audio, which is perfect for an ad break. So shifting that literally changed how I structure the stories, and personally, I think they flow better since then. And now being able to have multiple voices, drop down the prose and have it really more dialogue driven. It's gonna be interesting to see how I'm able to work that into ebook form, but I think there definitely is a potential there just for audio production, books or stories that are just aimed specifically for radio drama productions. yeah, it's one of those things I'm still trying to fully wrap my head around it, just because there's just so much potential, and especially with the way that AI video is coming along. Another year, maybe two, we're going to be to the point where we're able to produce, full length, or at least something resembling full length, video to go along with it, incorporating the audio, the full voice cast with audio, or spoken. I mean, it's a brave new world.
Yes, no, absolutely. And I don't know if you've had the chance to see any of these, but we have produced and circulated spoken book trailers in the past, and so those are exactly what you just said: generative AI videos that are between 30 seconds and a minute long, capturing a cinematic teaser or trailer for those books. And a lot of authors have said just that, to see their work come to life in any capacity on screen, right? It's a whole new experience for them. It's a marketing asset for them. And then eventually when your listeners can see it, it just becomes a completely immersive experience. And
I started writing initially because I wanted to make bad B movies. You can see a poster in the background from Mutant Hunt, in 1980s direct-to-video. But it's like, I always loved that stuff. I always wanted to get into that, and for a variety of reasons, it never happened. So I just shifted over to writing novels and doing audio. So having the potential to do radio dramas and video in the future is just like really exciting. Keeps me energized to keep writing the series.
You're speaking our love language right now, Derek. Stick around, spoken. We got a few more tricks up our sleeve.
I'm glad to hear it.
That's good. That's great. Do you have any advice for someone, just who's maybe reluctant to embrace the AI, the digital narration, and how that would impact what they're doing in a different way? As far as just words of advice from author to author?
So the anti-AI people are a extreme vocal minority. Yeah, like an extreme minority, but they are very vocal. And 99% of people don't care as long as they're entertained. So as long as you're putting out something that you're happy with, that sounds good, that is entertaining, do it. I mean, you're going to find far more people that are going to embrace it, enjoy it, and just ignore the naysayers. I mean, it's because it has never been a greater time to be a creator. You can do things that even 2-3 years ago wouldn't have been possible, and especially 5-10 years ago. And you have every tool imaginable at your fingertips, and it's only getting better, especially with spoken. It's like now you have full voice cast at your fingertips. That's would have taken months to do in different programs or with humans, and now it's a couple of days. You got an hour and a half of audio, sounds fantastic, and you're ready to go.
Yeah, very, very well said. I completely agree with you. I think as a creator, especially an independent creator, especially as an independent creator, you just see the future and you can't help but get excited, right? We'll get to a point where you can speak your ideas into existence in front of you. And I think that is empowering more than anything. It empowers the creator and the artist. So looking at it that way, like you said, I think is tremendously valuable.
Well, I mean, I get to wake up every day, hang out with my cats, and write about zombies. I mean, what better life is there?
Yeah.
Well,
That's
Derek,
true.
we would like to come alongside your journey and help in any way we can to celebrate what you're doing on Spoken. And if there's a cross promotional opportunity that we can help draw more listeners to your YouTube, that would be great. And we know that you've agreed to be a Spoken ambassador, so thank you for any ideas that you might see to draw other authors in your circle, or just to celebrate what we're doing here on our platform, we listen to our authors on the regular. We're making changes daily. And as you'll be seeing changes in just the next couple of weeks that will make your journey even better, because that's what we're doing here. And so we believe that what we have built is something very unique to the author experience. And we are championing all those who are taking the opportunity to invest the time and the energy and the money to explore how we can partner with them in their writing journey. So thank you so much for all that you're doing.
Yeah, and the next book that I did goes live tomorrow at noon Eastern time on YouTube. So we'll excited to see how everybody receives it.
And if you are in a position to, I know you're not on lots of socials, but if you'd like to tag us, I don't know how tagging works on YouTube, but
either. I did mention in the brief or in the description that it was made.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll see if
Great.
I can figure out how to tag y'all.
Yeah, and let us know, because we Joshua and we're juggling hot potatoes here all the time. So we need to remind ourselves, go listen to Derek's work, or we like to share it on our humble social accounts too. So but point people your way.
Awesome, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll when we're done here, I'll see if I can figure that out.
Am I remembering correctly that you learned about spoken through Wendy Nugent? Is that correct?
No, I found that I'm on the AI writing group on YouTube with Steph Jonas. I might have butchered that name.
Steph Jonas. Yeah. Brave New Book Shop and Future Fiction Academy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Actually, I did a podcast with her and Danica a few months back.
Oh, you did. Phil did one as well with them. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. That's great.
Yeah, I think that was all about AI audio too, and just because there's not a lot of people out there who are doing weekly stories. It would be a little bit of a maniac to do that. But yeah, I mean, it's yeah. Sorry, I kind of shut off there.
No, that's great. Yeah,
it's such a good. It was one of the first things that I thought of when I joined with Spoken, and I saw the technology, and of course, for the full-length novelists, it again becomes like an economic, obvious, benefit, like you said, the break-even point, right? When you're looking at a multicast, massive novel versus producing it with AI. Rather producing it with AI versus hiring the voice actors. But then I thought, yeah, for short form, episodic. I used to follow a lot of those creepypasta writers, or, it made so much sense, those who had those followings on YouTube who were releasing those weekly stories, to just expedite that process and be able to put out more and make it more interesting. And then, when we saw what you were doing, I thought, okay, finally, it makes sense. There's someone who is doing just that. And now you're doing it with multi-voice, and it really makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, and it's the other thing is that it's not a marathon; it's not a sprint; it's a marathon. And having something, I can spend $20-$30 and have a product that's going to have something that's not only going to break even in 2-3 days, but it's going to be out there forever. On multiple platforms. So as an author, being able to have high quality content produced for next to nothing in a rapid amount of time is it's vital, especially if you're going to make a career out of this. Because I'm 7 years into it. I now have 400 hours of audio that's now going to be doubled eventually with redoing everything in spoken. I mean, that's by the time I retire, I'm going to have 3,000-4,000 hours of content that will hopefully be my retirement.
We hope so too. That's fantastic.
And by then there will be the AI incarnation of Derek who can perpetuate the series with your mind.
I'll be about 2,000. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Derek. Really appreciate it.
That was my pleasure for having me.
Write it, hear it. Any story, any size. Professional audiobooks in a click. Spoken.